Okay.
Good morning.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, there's a lot to think about in this excerpt, which is why it makes it a good file. So, just a reminder, it's not just for you, Sarah, but for others. Fermata?
Yeah, longer.
Yeah, how long is a fermata?
Longer than this.
It's got to be at least longer than the notated value. Otherwise, there's no point in putting a fermata, right? And it has to be different because in bars 7 and 8, it's a similar figure, but with no fermata. So if you do the beginning as a metric half note, then there's no difference between the beginning with fermatas and bar 7 and 8 that don't have fermata, right? So that you just have to really be patient. And some of you, when you were playing for me this morning, you actually counted through the fermata and then held it longer. So if you have to do that, you shouldn't beat through the fermata, but if you have to count in your head to just make sure that you're holding it long enough, then maybe that's what you need to do, okay? But those are a little bit too short. So let's start with that. Okay, good. Now, I could tell you were counting through the fermata that time. So can everybody else. How do we know?
Overhead.
Right. So you just got to count in your mind, right? Second one, you did better. You were more still, and it was a good length. Yeah. Okay. Now let's talk about the dynamic difference between the first two bars and the third bar. Okay. How do you indicate dynamics in conducting? Well, size, yeah, so,
Facial expression.
yeah, well, that's good too, yeah. So can you make bigger difference, okay? The other thing is, well, let's see what you do first before I say it. There are lots of different ways to do it.
From the beginning?
Yes.
From the beginning.
Okay, so how did she show the contrast? Yeah, it's simple, right? If prep beat was smaller, right? So that was great. But the first couple of times it was less of a contrast. Okay? So yeah, you have to, and interestingly enough also, bar 12, right? What's the dynamic in bar 11? Yeah. What's the dynamic in bar 12? Yep, you didn't give any difference in your upbeat, and guess what? They didn't make any difference in their playing either. Okay? So even if they know it's supposed to be, it's very hard for them to do if you don't tell them. Because, look, conductor does everything that an ensemble can't do on their own. That's what the responsibility of conductor is. And one thing that the ensemble can't quite all collectively decide in the moment is, how loud is this fortissimo? How big a difference between piano and fortissimo should this be? They need a conductor to sort of indicate it's this much different. Oh, okay, then we're going to play this loud, right? So they need that from you. Actually, that's more important than tempo in conducting. It's good to do all your gestures in tempo so that it doesn't mess with their internal rhythm, but that kind of information is the most important information you can give to phrasing. They can't necessarily decide on their own what the phrasing is going to be, but you've studied the score, so you know, right? And you have some nice ideas about phrasing that I heard you play this morning. How much dynamic, how much crescendo, how much diminuendo. Length to a certain extent you can help with, although they can do a lot of that on their own. So those kind of things is what they need from you. So that was a long speech, but what I meant to say was good job with the third part. Yeah, so let's do a third part.
Bar 3.
Yeah, so one pulse before they play is when they need that information. So don't be surprised by it. Okay? Now, question for everybody. Give us a descriptor for the beginning, first two bars. Actually, you have it.
Yeah, majestic.
Majestic. Declamatory, that's great. Yeah. Anything else?
I almost kind of hear it as a dirge, maybe not like wailing, but it's kind of, this big D minor statement, 1 to 5, really dramatic, and then contrasts really quickly with this really soft, like almost weeping scene.
Okay, so yeah, so the beginning is declamatory, dramatic. Third bar, give me some descriptors for that. Subdued. Subtle.
Sensitive.
Sensitive.
Kind of the calm after the storm.
Mm-hmm. So that also has to be indicated in your conducting. So, trying to push you now past, because this is supposed to be a culmination of everything we worked on this semester, right? And so we shouldn't be thinking about pattern anymore. We shouldn't be thinking about, showing dynamics. We know how to do that, right? So now we want to show the music. We want to show all the things that they can't necessarily decide on their own. So I need a little more sense of atmosphere from you between the beginning and then the third bar. Okay? You're first, so you get extra time. So try it again from the beginning. Okay.
Yeah.
There's some difference. What does she do different? Was there? I guess there wasn't enough difference. Okay, so you need to change something, and then cueing. Please, you don't need to cue them like cue, but look. Okay, before they play. Start third note. Before they play, yeah. So that means at least one beat, which is like an eighth note pulse. So you're doing you're right centric in your conducting. You like this end of the orchestra better than this end for some reason. So you're making nice contact with them, but then switch your attention in the second half of the bar. Stay over here now. Down, and then down. Okay, so I have the bar before the fortissimo. You did a beautiful thing that they responded to very well. What did she do? Yeah, how'd she show it? Yeah, she brought up her left hand, and of course, because she wasn't using her left hand before when she brought it up, then you're like, ooh, something's gonna happen. And then she showed something, and then she showed the diminuendo, and you all followed beautifully. Yeah, so that was really good. But then you were taken by surprise, by the way, the fortissimo. So, you know, that's part of conductor's job is have to think ahead all the time. You know, you're always preparing the next thing for the group, right? So it can't be like, oh yeah, fortissimo. Yeah, okay? Okay, good. Thank you for doing some extra time.